So I made a community post earlier about talking about if meteorology does not work out for me and what my second career plan is. You guys can go read that community post. I'm basically going to just be repeating what I said in the community post on here. Also, by the way, I'm playing Halo because I was already on the game and I was like, I'm not going to switch to college. So I've always wanted to pursue meteorology as a passion, and in the back of my head I've always thought, like, what happens if this career doesn't work out? What happens if I don't get my degree in meteorology and I have to go for something else? And I've thought about this for years, and I want to actually be a war correspondent or a war journalist, specifically a war video journalist. Now you're probably saying, Gabriel, you're fucking crazy for being a war journalist, but I personally see war journalism as telling a story of other people. You're there as a war journalist covering the war to tell a story and to make change. Now as for me, I'm telling the story through a camera lens. Now why do I want to be a cameraman war journalist? That's mostly because if I was trying to speak and if there was missiles firing all around me or gunshots, I would not be able to speak a clear sentence. I've been watching all these like war journalism documentaries and everything, and they say like how dangerous the job is, but they're dying, you know, to tell a story of another victim who is a victim of war. Imagine you as a war journalist visiting a country for one day and you experience like the hell they're going through. But those people who are there are living the hell every single day. You're constantly trying to find food and water for your family, and you're just there documenting it, hoping that the world will see it. Now, yes, I know there's a lot of controversy in journalism where people believe that they should, you know, set down the camera and actually start helping the people, but I feel like you're there just to document what is happening. War journalists are there to document history, and if you're there messing around with history, then are you really telling the real story? Now there are some certain circumstances where I believe that they should, you know, drop the camera and actually start helping the people, but for the most part I feel like they're there to document the, you know, suffering that those people are going through. And all the war documentaries I've been watching about always point towards the siege of Sarajevo, because during the Bosnian War and the siege of Sarajevo, journalists were always on constant risk. Serbs would actually put bounties on war journalists sometimes.
For journalists covering the fighting, the knowledge that they're being targeted brings a certain sense of resignation. He says he's even heard that a $500 bounty is being offered to any soldier who can kill a member of the press.
Not to mention there's a place in Sarajevo called Sniper Alley where people from the mountains would literally try to snipe you at any moment because of how exposed you were. Anytime you would go on that small section in Sarajevo, they would just keep on firing down at you from the mountains. Anytime you would visit that stretch of area, people from the mountains would constantly try to start shooting. There was actually this one story in this one documentary that I watched about this Sarajevo war and how this journalist captured a woman's death and ended up having a mental breakdown and decided to walk with the people in Sniper Alley. He started running with the people and he wanted to take a sniper bullet because he felt like he should have died. Not to mention that there were some freelance journalists who died who didn't have any funding with them, so they didn't have like armor-proof cars, no like, you know, vest or anything. All they had was a camera and a microphone and maybe two people. The reason why I say maybe two people because some people didn't even get cameramen, they were just reporters. So a lot of the times it was just a cameraman just going out solo in the war. Now to some of you guys that might just seem, you know, discouraging or whatever, but to me I see that as, you know, bravery. The fact that you were brave enough to go out there where people were literally dying every single day, including children, just to, you know, tell a story solo. You were underfunded, the only thing you have is a camera. The fact that you went out there to, you know, cover a story is just, I don't know, something about that just, you know, really fucking sticks with me. You don't care about fame, you don't care about, you know, about yourself or whatever, you just care about, you know, you just care about telling these people's stories who are suffering through the war. And there's this one movie that I watched that is called Welcome to Sarajevo, and that shit just broke me. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna spoil the movie too much, but what that there was just this one scene in that movie that just really fucking broke me. What those kids had to go through and everything was just absolutely horrible. Like, I had to pause the movie and sit there and think for a little bit, like, Jesus, this is what people had to deal with for like over 1,000 days. Now when I'm talking about all of this, you guys are probably saying like, Gabriel, didn't you just say you're not a good storyteller? And that's why I say like, hey, I just want to be a cameraman for these people. A reporter is different. A reporter is telling the story, but a cameraman can also tell the story. But some of the footage from these wars, from the Sarajevo war, is like, it's disturbing, but it's also kind of fascinating to see. Like the cameraman, like, you know, running between the streets and everything, just hoping not to get shot because a lot of journalists died during the siege of Sarajevo. Imagine you as a journalist just trying to, you know, run between building to building, just, you know, hoping that a person from the mountains doesn't, you know, snipe you.
Crossfire, a British cameraman was hit. Rob Sellers from the International.
But yeah, the documentaries I put down below, I totally recommend that you guys watch them because they will put a whole new perspective of what you think a war journalist is. Some of these people deserve like medals or something because the fact that they put their lives on the line just to tell a story it just amazes me. I know a lot of people don't like war journalists, but I feel like they deserve some type of respect. And you know, just to go out there in a war field, just to, you know, document something. One quote I remember from the documentaries I watched is that war journalists have a front row seat to history. And after watching those documentaries and everything, I couldn't agree anymore. But yeah, guys, hopefully you guys just enjoy this rambling or whatever. But yeah, see you guys later. Bye.